my UFL Power Rankings after week 6 going into week 7. And we're going to go from 8 to 1. And at 8, we still have the Arlington Renegades, who are the last and only winless franchise in the UFL. And they find new ways to lose every week. It feels like they're in at least all 6 of these games. They feel like they've been in at one point or another. But it really must strike a nerve with Bob Stoops and that staff to know that they got the goods on both offense and defense from time to time. They just can't put it together in a way that has led to wins. However, this is still a franchise that won the XFL championship last year with 7 losses, and they only got 6 now. Now, it's a different league, and you're playing fewer games, but you get my point here. If they're going to make a run, maybe they get a little help from the teams in front of them in their conference, and perhaps they can shock us all once again. Number 7 on the list, let's talk about the Memphis Showboats, who are 1-5 after yet another loss to the Birmingham Stallions. It's the second time that they played them. It's the second time they gave up 30 or more. It's also the second time they got torched by Adrian Martinez. And, it felt like it was going to get out of hand, but I did not expect Memphis's offense to perform as terribly as it did in the loss. Now, for another week, we've seen John DeFilippo have to take Case Cookis out and put Troy Williams in. Feels like right now you should start the games with Troy Williams, see what you can do with the time you got left, because Case Cookis is running for his life back there. Doesn't seem like he's seeing it very well. They're not getting a whole lot of help out of their run game, and they just can't protect the quarterback. Defensively, Carnell Lake seems to be getting somewhere, only take a couple steps back. They've only got a couple of weeks to try to figure this thing out. One of these spots is already clinched in the USFL conference, so they're still fighting for that second spot, but they got a pretty good team in front of them. Number 6, let's talk about the Houston Roughnecks, who are also 1-5. But look, I thought this was a team that played really well against one of the better teams in the UFL on the road. They just couldn't find a way to pull it out and put it together. And had they been better on third down, they were 3 of 13 against St. Louis. And had they not been penalized as much, they had 8 penalties for 50 yards. I think they had back-to-back drives of offensive line penalties, pre-snap penalties, false starts. It feels like they're right there. Right, this is a team that I could just as easily have seen be 3-3 as 1-5. Again, like the Renegades, just finding ways to lose games that they could otherwise win. Number 5 on the list, I have the San Antonio Brahmas, who, after losing their guy at starter in Chase Garbers, I thought maybe this is going to teeter. And then Quentin Dormady came out and put on an absolute show. This was not one of those times, right, where they go up against the defenders on the road. It was really an offense that was having to lean heavily on the run game. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means, but Quentin Dormady all of a sudden doesn't see it as well as I thought he did, especially with Greg Williams not sending his linebackers after the quarterback like he would normally do. He's letting those guys sit back in coverage, and it felt like Quentin Dormady saw 12 guys on the field when there were just 11. That can't keep up if you expect to be that second team into the XFL Conference Championship, but right now I got him at number 5, 4-2. Then I got the DC Defenders at number 4. They're 3-3, but that win that they got against the San Antonio Brahmas at Audi Field to split the series between them, huge for them. Like, they would have not been mathematically eliminated from making the XFL Conference Championship game, but it'd been damn hard if they didn't do it. And this is a game in which they had to have it. And I got to see Jordan Tamu step up again, but that's nothing new. That's last year's XFL Offensive Player of the Year. He got help from the wideouts, though, particularly Kelvin Hartman, who had 8 catches for 101 yards in that game, and the only TD, right, to help them seal a victory. And for once, they got some help from the run game. 13 carries for 63 yards by Darius Hagan doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're looking at the offense that I watched what Fred Kites was calling for the Defenders the first 5 weeks of the season, it's quite a bit. If you can continue that trend, you got a shot at being in the XFL Conference Championship game and perhaps get one of those games at home. We'll see, right? And now, number 3, I want to talk about the Michigan Panthers, who separated, right? They had an opportunity to take advantage of the Showboats and the Houston Roughnecks, both catching L's, and they did. Now, they needed to come from behind to beat the Arlington Renegades, but when they got a guy like Jake Bates making kicks, it feels like they're always going to be in a game because he's good from 60, he's good from 62, he's good from 64. And this one, he had a 42-yarder for the game winner. Fortunate for him, they called a timeout just before he shanked it wide left. They gave him another opportunity, nails it right down the middle. So this is a man that's made 3 kicks of 60 yards or more and 2 from 62 or more. And of course, that one from 64, which is 2 yards off the NFL record. I think that guy's going to be on an NFL roster come the fall. Like, it's just write that down. Write it down in pen, right? Bookmark the tweak, as the kids say, because Jake Bates is going to help somebody in the place kicking. I really love watching this team play. And when they have him and they're getting great play from Danny Etling, they're getting good enough play from Wes Hills, they're getting some playmakers like Marcus Sims and Trey Quinn out there on the edges, they got an opportunity here. Number 2, St. Louis Battlehawks, right? That's 5-1. That's a team that took a loss week 1. It's got a 5-game win streak. They have a defined identity on offense and defense. They have defined leaders on offense and defense. They lose Darius Shepard, no big deal. They still got Hakeem Butler out there, who's caught 60 catches for 134 with 2 touchdowns in their win last week against the Houston Roughnecks. And A.J. McCarron is not thrown for 300 yards yet, but he is the only guy to throw for 200 or more in every outing that he's had. That dude would be the MVP if there wasn't yet another quarterback in another team that's just that much better than them right now. But we're going to get to find that out as the St. Louis Battlehawks travel to Birmingham at Protective Stadium and take on the number 1 team in my UFL Power Rankings, the undefeated Birmingham Stallions. Adrian Martinez makes a good team a great team. And remember, this is spring football's professional dynasty, okay? They have won 13 in a row, guys. If they get this win against St. Louis, they will have not lost a game in a calendar year. The last loss was to the Houston Roughnecks, May 13th, 2023. It's working for Birmingham. And you could hear from Adrian Martinez just how that thing sings before he even got there. And one of the reasons that he wanted to join is so see how talented they are. And then the continuity that you have in the coaching staff and the coaching mind you have on that staff, it really shouldn't shock anybody that Birmingham is this good. But being 6-0 is ridiculous in a league that is the strongest spring football league we have seen for at least 20 years. Like, I don't want to go too far because we'll talk about NFL Europe and some other leagues there, but they're really good in this league, and yet the Birmingham Stallions come straight over from the legacy USFL to be in the class of the UFL. Adrian Martinez is just that dude.
If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.